Okay, so this match, we've got Hui versus Syndra. Now, one of the most important things of Hui in range matchups is abusing your level 1. So, the OP thing about Hui at level 1 is there's very few champions that can test him from hitting the wave early. And if you hit the wave early, you're basically guaranteed to get priors. So come up here, and if your opponent contests you, just QQ them at level 1 and get the free damage. If they don't contest you, then you get free orders on the wave, and a lot of the time this will turn even losing matchups into winning matchups. I also like to use my very first cooldown on the wave, and that basically guarantees that you get prior. It does, lose, I guess, a little bit of opportunity to harass as a result, but like I said, you're going to make up for it by having, push over the wave, and see now how the enemy Syndra is forced to use cooldowns to CS because she's just so behind in the push. And this basically guarantees that we're going to be ahead the entire lane. Every time she uses cooldowns to CS, I'm going to walk up and try and punish her. So already, just off wave 1, the lane is virtually over, right? And it's so important to realize that. Obviously, it's more things skewed towards higher elos, but oftentimes in higher elo, the lane literally is just over level 1, right? And here's another good example of that, where she's basically just dead already. And that's all from just understanding how to play the level 1. The level 1 is really, really crucial. And Syndra is meant to beat Hui. This is a winning matchup for Syndra. But just by knowing kind of what to do on these early lane or these early waves, we're already massively far ahead and potentially can kill her. So let's keep pushing. On this wave, we'll try and look for an EE into QW and potentially get the kill. We do have to be a little careful because right now, this is a reasonably common time to get ganked, which is, yeah, what's happening here. Should be able to just walk it out. So yeah, it's a little annoying. We lose a little bit of pressure there because we're getting ganked. We know that Viego was topside, so he should cross into bot side, although he might try and invade Nefiri. We'll have to see. But yeah, that is quite annoying. I missed a big window, unfortunately, there to kill Syndra, but it's okay. Now we're a little low in mana, so we need to kind of regen a little bit. We need to spam out WEs and wait for that. Oh yeah, he did decide to invade. I thought he might. Now if she keeps using cooldowns on the wave, we can potentially punish. So there, for example, see my positioning? I try and move up on the wave and pressure her to use cooldowns to CS. And then if she uses cooldowns to CS, we can get good trades. Now I could quickly come and collapse on this guy. See if we can... Okay, nice. No splash. I think we can just kill. Nice. So they're basically our prior over the mid wave, and what we've gained from beating Syndra in the 1v1 allows us to move first. Now Syndra has no stun, so we could literally just walk at her, right? She is missing her most important cooldown, so we can literally just walk at her and play for a kill, which we do. So it's really, really important to punish your opponent's cooldowns, especially their important ones, right? So certain cooldowns matter more than others. The ability they're maxing normally matters a lot, and their CC ability normally matters a lot too. So basically, we're now in a super good spot. Despite we've got a losing lane and everything, losing matchup, just by punishing cooldowns basically and abusing our strengths at level 1, we're now super far ahead of Syndra, right? We're going to base with a chapter, and she's only got Amp and Refill, which is an amazing, amazing spot for us to be in. I hope this guy doesn't cancel me. Don't do it, man. Thank you. Okay, so what are we looking for now? Well, we pretty much just want to abuse our item advantage. Same as any other game, once we find ourselves at some sort of lead, we want to continue to extend it. Now, Hui is not the best roamer. It's difficult to actually just roam to other lanes. You can roam to river fights, but, full roaming to another lane is sort of hard. So we're just going to focus first on, regaining prior over the wave, which is, yeah. So we want to get away from the turret, basically, and, get under her turret and start harassing her. It's a bit annoying to break yourself out of this little situation where you're pinned under turret, but now it looks like we've done it. So she wasted cooldowns, she kind of made some mistakes, and now we're the one in control of the wave. And if we can get past the wave, it's very, very difficult for Syndra to do anything because we just have too much control. So first, I'll quickly go and set up vision just to make sure that we don't get ganked anytime soon. As long as we hug the top now, we should be safe. And we can look to start punishing her. We're actually going to lock her under the turret. So what we can do is QE the wave very early. And as you can see, most of this wave is dead before she even gets to touch it, right? Now, potentially, we can go for an EE. Ooh, if I hit that EE, I think it would have killed her. All right, so Leona comes mid. I think I'm actually just going to ult this guy. Let's see if we can get a snipe. He's very low. I think if I'd hit that EE immediately, I would have killed her. But ultimately, this is not too bad. So because we're hugging topside, we were able to live the Leona gank. And now we're in a pretty reasonable spot where, like, she's forced to back. And just, again, as long as we hug to topside, we should be completely safe from any sort of gank. And if we can push this wave in time, it's going to make sure that the Syndra, like, loses something here, right? Because obviously, like, getting the chunk is one thing, but then you've got to actually turn it into something, which in this case is CS denied. So, what now? We're going to go home. We're going to grab our boots. We're going to grab our Dark Seal. These are good items to get, especially after you have your chapter. And we'll just look to keep trading. So here, again, we have like a huge item advantage still. And importantly as well, like she's gone Faded Ashes, which is a very weak component. So even though this is like 900 gold, it's actually worth less than that. So our item lead here is really, really big because she's kind of invested gold into bad components. Like Glowing Mote's pretty weak for lane. Faded Ashes is kind of a bad component. So basically, we just stat check her probably even more than like our stats suggest. Because like we've bought a bunch of good items basically, and she's bought kind of like mediocre items. So I'm just going to quickly replace my ward just because it just expired and I'm a little scared. We'll place that. Now, it's a little difficult for me to trade with Syndra right now because my ult is down and hers is up. So I'm just going to try and play my range, focus on clearing the wave first, and then when the wave's gone, then I can look to harass her. Especially her not having boots here is pretty spooky. You know, like, it's really, really easy for me to just hit skill shots because she has no extra movement speed. So in skill shot matchups like this, having at least tier 1 boots goes a really, really long way. And so if you can get that either before chapter or after, it's pretty valuable. Once again, we'll shove mid. No point going bot because my jungler is topside, so we don't really want to play for that. Now we can potentially look for a kill here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try get a little bit of harass first. Okay, now we know she has no stun. I think if we hit an EE, she is just dead. Alright, that should be a kill. We can just walk away, wait till this is max slow, and then get the kill. Great, so that's perfect. And we managed to punish the fact that we have this huge item lead and that we win trades. We even managed to get our Pantheon ult, which is going to help our top laner breathe a little bit. And for now, we're just going to be a little safe, right? Because we just used everything. We did really well to get the Syndra kill, but now we're sitting on a lot of gold and we don't have ults. And, you know, it's kind of just spooky to actually do anything. We want to instead just go home and base. Now, this is kind of like a difficult spot to buy items in. And the reason is that, like, Blackfire is a super OP item on this champ, but we don't really want Faded Ashes, because if we buy Faded Ashes, it allows us to push, which is good if we want to neutralize, right? Like, if we just want to push waves and ignore Syndra, then buying Faded Ashes here could be really good. But we want to pressure, so I'm going to go Sword Shoes and Refillable, which gives us a lot of just power for the lane. But this does delay my first item spike, which makes life kind of annoying. But ultimately, like, it's pretty good still. We're going to be able to abuse this wave. Now, this is going to be a very hard game because my bot lane is getting absolutely demolished. So if you see this, right, like if you see a losing lane or a lane that's losing this hard, first thing is make sure you just, like, don't go anywhere near them, right? Like, you don't want to interact with your losing bot lane in any fashion because any fight around their bot lane and around your bot lane is going to be super losing. So the best thing you can do is just kind of play to your strengths or your team's strengths. So in this case, like, I have a 2-1 to Fury, and I'm strong. So if we can take fights in our mid-jungle, we can probably win. But obviously, like, yeah, any fight that involves their bot lane is just going to be, like, massively losing. So we need to kind of avoid that. Now, I'm in a bit of a weak spot right now because I have no vision. So currently, it's very hard for me to trade with Pantheon because I have no vision around mid and I have no trinket available. So I'm just going to kind of clear this wave and just play safe here because in 20 seconds, I'll be able to give myself vision and I'll actually be able to play aggro again. But until that, it's really important not to die. And being aware of these little windows where, like, you know, maybe you don't have flash or maybe you don't have wards or whatever, and making sure you survive those is really key because, like, a lot of the time, like, you're not vulnerable the whole game, right? Like, if you have vision and flash, for example, like, you're much safer than if you have no vision and no flash. So, yeah, you want to kind of be, like, hyper aware of the windows where you're vulnerable, but then realize, like, when you're actually kind of immune to ganks, like now. So, like, if I come and drop vision, right, like, deep vision on this side, plus I have my flash available, as long as I hug the top side, I should be pretty much safe from anything. Yeah, it wasn't quite quick enough to get the thing there, but that's fine. Alright, so, okay, no stun. Now, we still have this huge lead over Syndra, right? Like, she still doesn't have any movement speed, so potentially we can just, like, walk up and trade with her. Alternatively, like, we could shove the wave a little bit, try and, like, pressure her a little. I don't really want to ult her super early, because I kind of want to save it to where, like, the chunk actually matters, you know, to where she's, like, a little bit lower, and then she gets, like, too low health to actually contest. So for now, we're just going to kind of chill. My Aatrox is starting to come back in the game. So this is kind of a classic, like, top side versus bot side game, where, again, just, like, don't go anywhere near bot lane. Just make sure you're always warding and hugging and everything to top side. The side of the map where we're, like, way stronger on, basically. Okay. Just going to go for the max range ult. Now, I think this is not quite a kill, but it's close. Yeah, very, very close. That's fine. She gets chunked out. Maybe sniper here. Ooh, very close. That's fine. We still see Viego bot, and we're just going to keep shoving mid. I think Syndra has no TP, so now's a pretty good time to just continue to shove in. And just continue to deny everything. So, great. Now, I could roam for this. Why don't I? Sitting on a lot of gold, no ult. Basically, I'm just, like, too weak. If my team wins this, like, good for them. Like, that's really, really good. But I'm just, like, kind of low impact in that sort of fight. Because I just don't have anything up, right? Like, without ult and with having a ton of gold and no health, it's really risky for me to roam bot. But it's actually really good. Like, if my team can kill Ezreal, like, we're in such a good spot. Like, I'd say, alright, I'd say we're probably winning now. The only real thing to be careful of is they do have 2 dragons. So it's going to be really important that we're there at the 3rd dragon fight in order to put a stop to that. But, yeah, like, basically, the game should be in a good spot now. Do need to be a tiny bit careful here, just because I'm on Faded Ashes, right? So currently my power is a lot weaker than it looks. And if you notice, like, see how her Faded Ashes, she bought this on her first base, and it's only done 138 damage. So unless the wave clear is, like, super valuable for you, it's kind of just a bad component to buy. Now, sometimes the wave clear is good, right? But the reason it's just kind of weak for laners is because it's balanced around junglers. Like, it's meant to be a jungle clearing item rather than, like, a laner item. Now, this is good. I'm going to go home, I'm going to buy my Blackfire, and then I'll be really strong. Potentially, I could TP bot here, because I'm actually, like, really spiked, right? So what I might do is quickly just TP behind them and see if I can clean anything up here. Because, like, now I really do want to take fights, right? My ult is coming up soon. I am, you know, really, really strong. See if I can get it, okay, that's kind of unfortunate. I died a bit too soon. I could have pinged the Cinder coming. I kind of knew it was happening. So that was maybe my bad. But ultimately, like, this is not too bad. Like, we can hold the turret. Should be pretty easy. Like, we have tons of wave clear. I was only really willing to go bot lane here, even though they're, like, losing, because I'm so strong, right? Like, because I've reached the items that I need, basically. But this is a little annoying, because, like, now I'm sort of trapped against 2 very strong individuals. But, to be honest, I can, like, clear waves pretty easily. Just gotta make sure that I don't die here, right? Like, if I can hold this turret, it's really good. If I end up dying, it would be really, really bad, because, you know, obviously Ezreal's already so fed. So if we give any sort of disadvantage to him, it would... or any more advantage to him, it would really suck. But yeah, we should be totally fine just to clear waves. Now, they might just try and dive me here. I actually think they probably could. Let's see. We can probably kill Leona, I think. Ooh, I'm going to try to shield myself. I think Ezreal's dead here. Nice. So just by shielding myself there, using the WW, I was able to live. That's a really, really important thing to be aware of. Like, WW is kind of like... it's not bad, but you don't use it that often, but like for turret dives or for, you know, all-ins where they need to jump on you or whatever, it can be like a really, really valuable tool. Now, if I'm really greedy, I could probably take this turret, and I think I'm gonna try and do it. Yeah, I think I should be fine, like as long as I have my center with me. Maybe need to carry Ezreal out of base. Although, yeah, it's a little dicey. I think we can get this wave in and reset, and then we should be in a pretty good spot. Yeah, nice. Okay. So we'll go home, we'll start building our Liandry. Liandry is basically just like a solid default in a way, can't really go wrong with it, like you can take it pretty much every time. We are going to sell refill and buy a pink because that's going to allow us to set up our side lane properly. It's pretty difficult to effectively side lane without a pink, so having that is going to allow us to set up proper vision and like basically just get deeper into their jungle, and it's going to put us in a much better spot to carry the game basically. So what are we thinking now? I don't have TP available, so I kind of don't want to side lane too much. At the same time, like, currently it's a pretty good time to push bot because dragon's spawning soon. And again, remember, this 3rd dragon is super critical to winning this game. Like, if we lose 3rd dragon, it's still winnable, obviously, but it's going to make the game a lot harder. So if I can, what I'm going to do is try and shove this wave before dragon spawns. Because what this does is it means that someone is going to have to go back and answer this wave. And if they answer this wave, we'll get free control over the dragon, right? So see, if we just watch this, either they'll bleed a bunch of CS, or we'll get free control. It looks like they're actually just going to bleed the CS. Okay, Cinder went bot, which is kind of good for us. Actually just going to pink this bush. So we managed to get a little bit of damage on this guy. Okay, I got a huge fucking ulti here. That should be a dead Leona. And so see here, like, just by forcing Syndra to show on the bot wave, and then, like, holding this vision and making it difficult to contest, this just end up as a super winning fight, right? Like, by the time that Syndra even shows up to this, they're basically all dead. So just by abusing our 1v1 strength, which allowed us to win the side lane, that then allows us to win the team fights. Like, you've got to really leverage the fact that you have, like, a winning 1v1 to get prior of his side. I think it's like a really common misconception, and it always comes up when I'm coaching people, that they think like, oh, like I'm really strong, so I need to be grouped to make sure that my team wins the fight. But it's kind of the opposite. Like if you're really strong and your team's really weak, you need to, again, leverage that 1v1 lead to make the fights better by getting the prior first. Like if you just show up and play a 5v5 as opposed to shoving first to make it a 5v4, that's just overall like not as good for you, you know? You've really got to abuse that 1v1 lead, like I said. Champs played today. I played Syndra and Hui so far. Alright, so same thing again. This dragon's already secured. If the dragon's secured, like they can't contest, you might as well just go shove waves. Obviously, if they're contesting, I would be in position to probably like poke them as they come in. But it's really important to realize again, like it's not really ever your job to hit objectives as a mid. You just want to like push waves, hold vision, you know, hold chokes, make picks, but don't hit the objective. It's kind of a waste of time. Now, actually, I'm going to cancel my base, and the reason is, if they're all going mid, I can quickly shove a bot wave. So I don't want to look for this fight mid. I never want to TP into this, because I have 1700 gold. So it's a really bad time for me to look to TP, because I'm so weak currently. But what we can do is abuse the fact that these guys are all showing mid, and actually pressure the bot turret. If I had recalled earlier, and I had spent my gold, I would have TP'd to this. But it's super important to realize that I'm in like a massive power trough right now, because I'm sitting on so much gold. And the worst thing you can do there is recall and then not TP. Because, like, if you're, you know, if... Wait, hold on. We got a fraud to deal with. Oh my god, he has so much MS. Do you have Swifties? Nope. Okay. I could have killed him. I disrespected the MS. But yeah, the worst thing you can do, basically, is for your team to die and for you not to trade anything. If you TP early with your gold spent, that's fine. If you don't TP at all and you take bot turret, that's also fine. But if you just recall and do nothing, that's, like, the worst case scenario. But in that case, we used the fact that they all like showed mid off tempo basically, so that we could just take the bot turret for free. Now again, I could TP here, but there's no real objective to get. Even if we kill these guys, neither of them have bounties. There's no dragons up. There's no barons up. Basically, like, these kills are just kind of irrelevant. So I don't want to use my TP here, because by using my TP, it'll make side laning much more difficult. Now, something happened there that made Aatrox angry. So, that happens. Maybe could have gone top. I was assuming Aatrox would go top, but he's kind of... I don't know. He's having some issues. That's fine, though. So again, we'll just shove in bot. We've got TP. We can set up vision for ourselves. And we'll just rinse repeat. Like, basically, we'll push the side lane as far as we can without dying. And then we will try and pressure them out. Now, this fight we could come to, right? We've shoved the bot wave. We can have a look at this. Our ult's still down, so we need to play this a little slowly, but we've made Syndra show on side, so it's definitely not a bad fight to come to, because it should be slightly numbers advantaged. Now, I can't really go bot here, it's just a bit too far away, so it's probably better for me instead to, like, yeah, look for some sort of play here. So, basically, when you can't go bot lane, because either it's too far, or you don't have TP or whatever, the best thing you can normally do is, like, kind of chill around mid lane and try and make picks. Now here, as soon as the fight's over, I have no reason to really be there anymore, so I'm going to go bot lane, reset up my vision, push the wave in, and just again, same thing. I do want to go home at some point here and spend all my money, because I do have like a lot of gold, but we can take the opportunity of 3 people showing top to shove this wave a little further first. So I'll just shove that, and then I'll recall and go spend my money, right? I could go and do Atacon right now, but the reason I don't want to is, again, I don't want to end up in a fight with a lot of gold in my inventory. So I shove the wave all the way in, and then I make my reset. The side lane is basically exactly the same as the laning phase, right? Like, you just want to, like, make sure you're getting farm, and you want to make sure that you're pushing as far as you can before you make a play or whatever. So in this spot, I'll go top. Now, I can TP to this, and I actually want to TP to this, because this fight here... Yeah, I think I have to TP. This fight here does lead to Atacon, so I'm willing to TP very early. Now, this was maybe an aggressive, maybe even a too aggressive TP position. Kind of bad QW placement for me as well, but we should be able to win the fight. Let's see if we can get this guy. So I played this fight pretty badly, to be honest. But I think the macro was good. Like, it was good for me to TP to this fight. Unfortunately, I just played it badly. But it should be still winnable. So we're just going to kite back, spam out QEs. We have ult very soon. These guys are very low. Nice, managed to get the Ezreal. That's really good. Maybe even look at Cinder here. Okay, that's fine. So we'll clear out this wave. We cancel this dude's base, I think just barely. Nope. Okay, that's fine though. So yeah, I'm not sure if I explained it well because the team fight was so hectic, but basically I want to TP here because this fight actually does matter. If we get kills, it leads to Atacon. And yeah, maybe the position was a bit too far up, but I didn't have a great other ward to TP to, so I kind of felt like I had to. So yeah, that's basically it. Now I do probably want to get another reset in, right? Because I'm sitting on a lot of gold again. Might quickly just look at Syndra. So she has no stun currently, so I can maybe look for something. Alright, no flash. That's totally fine. You have to be a little careful here. I think I'm fine. Ooh, maybe not fine. I'll have to flash. That's unfortunate. I really don't want to lose my flash outside of a team fight, so like that is a pretty big mistake by me. Fortunately, it does kind of work out, like my team manages to get stuff. That was a little risky. I probably shouldn't have gone for Syndra, given that I was still sitting on so much gold. I think it was probably better to reset, spend my money all before Dragon. But, I mean, it kind of worked out. But I do think it was kind of greedy. Anyway, they used a lot. Now, without TP here, I'm just going to run mid out of base, right? Like, too long to go top. I'd like to go bot, but again, it's like, stuff's already happening, so I kind of just need to be here. Yeah, so Neferi died. To be honest, this death is kind of my fault. Like, because I greeted my base before, and I wasn't here set up on Dragon early, it's like really likely that my team gets caught and die. And you could say that like, okay, you know what, like Neferi shouldn't do that. And like, that's correct. But ultimately you need to take like as much agency in solo queue as you can. And, oh my god. Oh my god, I killed Viego? Okay. Yeah, that was very lucky. But like I said, I think I would say that was mostly my fault for like chasing that center kill and it not working out. But I mean, that was pretty crazy. I managed to snipe the Viego, send us still the Dragon, which makes things a lot better. Now, really quick, I want to farm this death cap before I recall. So, even though I kind of want to reset right now, I need just like a little bit more gold. Like, I'm going to be massively spiked. And currently, since there's no one else farming mid, I will just do it. Especially because I don't really feel comfortable going side. You need to be really careful here, though. Like, when your whole team is off the map and you're pushing up like this, just be very, very cautious. So this is good. We'll go home. We'll grab our death cap. And now we're going to be, like, absurdly far ahead. We have TP coming up in a minute, so we can probably start playing sidelane again. So we'll go top, because that's currently where no one is. We'll set up our vision, and then we'll kind of go from there. If anything breaks out, again, I kind of want to TP, because Atacon is, like, quite a nice objective. But until then, we'll push top. And we should be safe to push top. We see Viego bot, we see Pantheon. So the only person that can be here is Syndra, and she's not, like, really a major threat to us. So we want to push this wave, again, not only to get ourselves golden XP, but also to kind of force someone to answer top. And if they answer top, like, that makes all our fights on the other side of the map a lot easier. Now, I could look bot. That's a 2v3. Yeah, so I wanted to TP, but they just died a bit too early. Again, though, if they die, then that's fine. We'll just shove, and like if they decide to do Atacon here, I'll make them lose stuff top. So it's really important that we're, again, by pressuring side lane, it gives us the option. We could TP to Atacon. Potentially, though, it might just be better to take the top inhib, right? Like, that's a fight that doesn't look that good to us. And also, they're just, like, leaving their top inhib open. So, again, we can TP, and maybe we want to TP now that Ezreal's top. I think that's actually what we want to do. Although, probably going to have to... Okay, I think I might have fucked up here. Can I live? I think no. I think I misplayed. So yeah, this, I just misplayed my... I misplayed a couple ways. I pushed up just slightly too far, and that made me a bit vulnerable, and obviously I missed my EQ there at the start. But again, by bringing people top, we secured Atacon, right? Like, they would have never come top if I weren't pushing top. So really leveraging that 1v1 advantage is, you know, super key. I'm going to start going Void here. Actually, maybe go Bloodletter. Might be better to go Bloodletter just because I haven't... Well, sometimes it's good to go Bloodletter if you have double AP, but to be honest, I think it might be better to go Void. It just has a better build path, so I might go for it. But that's really good. Like, even though we died in the side lane, slight misexecution, it still works out really well. Like, we get Atacon, and I kept my TP, which is good, because that means we can keep doing this if we want, right? Like, we can keep bringing people to us. So next step would be to make someone show bot and then start Baron. Now, Aatrox is going bot, which is kind of a mistake. He doesn't have TP, so that makes my life really difficult because I can't really go top, right? Like right now, top wave's too far away. So even though I have TP, it's like I can't go bot, I can't really go top, so I kind of have no choice but to group mid, which it's not good to share golden XP, but it's just I have no other option right now. Just kind of have to group. Now, potentially, if this wave comes closer, we could try and shove it, but we kind of have to wait for that first. Yeah, I'm not sure I feel super safe doing that. But we can take away some jungle camps instead. Like, if you have nothing to do, killing jungle camps can be good. Okay, I think I will go top now. Again, I've got TP if I need to get into the fight. Just going to check this bush. Okay, no one in there. I kind of want to ping Baron because I have a feeling they're going to send people to Aatrox. Like, yeah, so see how they showed 2 people bot here? That's unfortunate. That would have been a good time to do Baron, but unfortunately, like, we died mid as well. So we've got to be really careful here. They're going to try and do Baron because we have 2 people dead. If we can stay alive, we can probably stop this because, like, a champ like Hui has so much poke and so much control. And I have basically everything available here to make sure I can control this. So what I'm going to do is I need to make sure I play around the key threats. The key threats being Leona ult and Syndra stun. If I can avoid these, then probably I can stop them from doing anything. If I die, though, obviously things get really bad really quick. So surprisingly, they didn't even try to Baron. Maybe because we have so much poke. This guy's doing a really good job of dodging my shit, to be honest. Okay, try and poke that guy on the way out. Just, again, really respect Leona, right? Making sure that I play her away from her. She's doing a really good job of zoning me, actually. Like, it's very hard for me to get into the fight. But if we can get Leona out of the way, now we can do basically whatever we want, right? Like, now there's not a whole lot of threat to us. See if we can get the Syndra. Not quite. Maybe can chase one more. Okay. Nice. Grab that guy. Okay, so now we'll just go home, spend our money. So it's just very, very kind of, I guess, like, one really important thing in solo queue is stopping chain inting. And what I mean by that is that, like, a lot of the time in solo queue, if one person makes a mistake, it's not too bad, right? But what often happens is someone makes a mistake and then other people, like, don't respect, and then suddenly, like, 2 people die, and then 3 people die, and then that's how you end up losing the game, right? So there, I was super aware of, like, okay, like, my Aatrox died, that sucks. My team got caught on mid, that also sucks. But as long as I live and don't give them Baron, I'll be in a pretty, like, we should be in a stable spot. Like, they didn't end up getting anything actually noteworthy. But if you're unaware that, like, your job there is just to live, basically, then you could easily, like, overextend, you know, maybe you get caught by Leona or whatever, and then suddenly the game is, like, pretty spooky. Yo, Goblin, thanks for the raid, big man. Hope you had a good stream. I'm trying my best to be as educational as possible. Alright, so we should be able to start this Baron, or this Dragon, I mean. I need to make sure that I'm holding the vision. Like, I don't really want to DPS this. I'm only really DPSing this because no one else is at the moment. But ideally, someone else hits this, and I come and hold the chokes, just in case they try and contest. Now, it's possible they try and do Baron if these guys are real goblins, shall we say. I don't think they'll do it, though. Yeah, probably not. So, at this point, we're kind of in a lull state. There's not a whole lot we can do. Split pushing and sidelaning at this stage of the game is kind of hard because the fights are just, like, over so quickly. So, yeah, just being, like, grouped around mid a lot of the time is better. Does this hit? Okay. Alright, Leona ult's gone. Oh, my god. Okay, so unfortunately I had to flash away. They have used... Oh, Jesus. Okay, we can kill this guy out. They have used a lot of cooldowns for us, and I think we can live. So we probably just need to reset and then TP back into this fight. But that's a lot of, like, really big cooldowns used, which we're quite happy with. This game is still losable, maybe. I just keep forgetting they have this, like, 20 kill Ezreal. So I'm just going to TP on the map here. Swap to blue trinket. At this point in the game, I'm kind of saying, like, I don't care about side laning too much anymore. I just want to be, like, grouped and, like, stop them doing Baron or anything. So I'm just going to trinket that. Yeah, it's difficult to side lane because the fights just end so quickly. So if I go side and, like, my team dies without me, like, we could immediately lose the game. And I've kind of got all my important items by this point anyway. Like, once you've got Void and Deathcap, like, you're in a pretty good spot to more or less just ARAM. Now, we need to be a tiny bit careful because Neferi is still really far away from us here. So the enemy team's going to want to engage because, like, well, maybe they don't know Neferi's not here, but basically we've just got to be careful because we don't have everyone with us yet. So we're just going to play really far back, make sure that we're, like, behind our front line, right? Like, one of the best things about play is you have so much range, so you can still deal plenty of damage while being, like, behind people. So, like, not putting ourselves in a vulnerable position. And as long as we're away from Leona, we basically have, like, nothing to be scared of, right? Like, that's the only real person that can get on us and then, like, lock us down. So if we just position away from Leona, we make sure we have, like, you know, one dude in front of us at all times, it should be fine. So, like, I'm not confident to hit this because I have no one with me. And without flash, like, I am extremely vulnerable to Leona. We're going down here. We probably could have gone Baron here. I think I probably could have called it. I didn't ping it, though, which is kind of my bad. Nice. Okay, so cool, we get a kill. I think we should do Baron off that. Like, the enemy jungler is dead. It would be much better for us to go Baron rather than to keep sieging. Yeah, so I don't really like this. Ultimately, you kind of do have to play around, like, what your team is doing. So, like, in this spot, you know, I ping Baron, we should do it, but if no one's listening, then I guess I just play with them. I try Siege. Same thing again, just be super aware of Leona. That's the only person we need to be careful of, really. If we have Aatrox in front of us, it makes the fight super, super easy. Like, we don't really have anything to be... Oh, shit. Okay, so this was definitely a big misplay by me. I disrespected... Yeah, I think I'm dead. So see there, just like one of the hardest parts about playing Immortal Mages is if you make one mistake, like you overextend a little bit, you just immediately die. And so like that situation there, I greeted too much for the play onto Syndra, and then I just get caught by Leona with no flash, I just instantly die. And I always say in solo queue, like it's a lot easier in general just to play champions that are like tankier or that have mobility because like of stuff like that basically, right? Like you have to be very, very careful. And so there I made a pretty big misplay and I get caught. Now luckily my team traded back pretty well, so it doesn't look like they can get anything. But hopefully that's like a super obvious example of like what happens when you misposition, right? I think it's very obvious. I think I will buy these. Basically have nothing else to buy at the moment, so we'll just do this. Should be fine. What does bootcamp imply? I think for me, bootcamp is just playing in a different region from your own. Okay, so it would be nice, I guess, for us to get Baron and just end the game. But probably we'll just play for 4th Dragon. And again, 4th Dragon or Baron, that's like what you're looking for to actually end up winning the game. So in this situation, like if we can get Mountain Soul, we should be in a pretty good spot. I would say we outscale their team as a whole, so we shouldn't be super worried. They can still win, obviously, if we make mistakes, but I think we're in like a relatively good position. So again, we'll come and try and like take control of this area nice and early and make sure that if anyone walks in, we can chunk them. We might have to be careful of then just doing a Baron. If they play it really well, they give Mountain Soul and they do Baron. I don't think they'll do it. So most likely we can just hold this vision. But I have a blue trinket just in case they do it. Well, they might. They might even look into Fury. So, okay, yeah, they're going to try. Fine, we get some damage here. Get control of the mid wave. They also have a bot wave to deal with. Oh yeah, they're actually losing in him. So this is pretty good. I think we'll be able to just start the Baron or the Dragon. Although we might end up in a fight. I have Flash soon, and that's going to make it a lot easier to play around Leona. Until then, though, I've got to be like very, very aware of where that Leona is. Because I'm definitely like the most valuable target for them. Alright, no Leona ult, so that immediately makes the fight like way, way easier for me. In fact, I'd say that I might even say that's GG, you know, because the only way they're killing me is with a Leona stun, or Leona ult or whatever. And so now that they don't have that and I can just play like a regular front to back, we're in like a super, super good spot. So I'm just going to keep dropping all my CCs in the choke here. It's very, very difficult for them to do anything as long as I, you know, again, just keep dropping QEs and whatever in the choke. Could maybe TP into the base and end. Yeah, fuck it. You know what? I think we can end. So it's kind of a weird way to end the game. You know, we didn't actually like play up any objectives, but ultimately, like we played the team fights well enough to win. Like I said, I made that one really big mistake, and honestly, like that could have been game losing. It wasn't game losing. Well, I guess it could still be. Okay, I'm just gonna keep dropping all my dots. Dude, Leona's just the best champ in the game. Alright, I think we finally win. This 21 kill Ezreal feels like a 5 kill Ezreal, by the way. And that's not a skill thing. I think I'm just an Ezreal hater. I think this champ sucks. I think we finally end. Just saving my CCs until after he uses dash. And yeah, finally we win. So, yeah, another pretty good game. And I think especially a good example of how to play, like, Hwei versus range champs, especially with, like, cheesing the lane early. And also, I guess, like, a couple examples of, like, what happens if you misposition in team fights.